In the book that I was going through, you've spoken about your personal journey, about dealing with partial blindness, about getting a corneal transplant, and even a kidney transplant. And I was amazed because I knew nothing about this before, and I just want to know about your personal journey through these health challenges and how have they actually changed your perspective on life?
First, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. I never spoke about something like this in a forum that was lit up and a stage like this, but well, I think life always has a way of teaching you things, and this was mine, and that's how I took it in my step. And whether partial blindness is even a fact today that I can't see from one eye, but I still continue to do what I do. I was diagnosed with kidney issues after this large successful film called Bollywood. So if you saw that film, I was like 2 times this size or 3 times this size. But post that, I couldn't be the guy I was. So somewhere it was like reinventing yourself. It was finding perspective and meaning to the world in the way that you should find it. The largest lesson that you learn is time is limited. The way you spend each day, the way you value relationships or value what you do for yourself and for others becomes very key and priority. The why in my life became very important post that. It took away 5 or 6 years of my life from active work because I was dealing with how to get back to normalcy. And fortunately or unfortunately, the job that I was in, normalcy meant much more than normal standards. Because the last time they saw me on screen, I was killing a bison with my bare hands, and I knew I couldn't be that guy anymore. So I think every choice, whether it's life or the way you choose to move it, kind of changed. And there is a sense of hardship, but I don't know if. But that probably made me the human I am today, because if not that, I wouldn't have had a perspective to see the world in the way I do.
Right, but you know, I mean, like you said yourself, you have a life that is much. You've always led a life that's been way larger than life, than normal models, and I wanted to know that through this journey, even with your life that is so sort of king size. How have you figured, what are your opinions on now the importance of inclusion, you know, of having people, and has it deepened your understanding of why we should be more inclusive?
I don't know if that's what my health kind of addressed. I don't know if that was the first take back that I got. But to me, the largest take back is you don't know anyone's story. Everyone has a life that you assume that's of a certain manner. But there's something that's far more deeper. If you can't help in any ways making that story better, it's not. That's the way we lead life. Where unless you're not able to fix it, don't spoil it. So I think that's where it took me. The second part was understanding greater values in life, and cinema was also seeing some kind of change in this point. I mean, we are all talking. Post 2020, we see everything very differently, whether it's watching a movie, whether it's experiencing life itself. They've been, and India being, I mean, it's not a complaint in any ways, but the fact that we're such a large country, we have so many things to deal with. There's very little importance to give it to anything that is physically disabled. You have to find a normal in a different rhythm. But I think today there's a world that is telling some authentic stories. Just for example, the story of Shrikant that just came out some time back, whether it was films like Tare Zameen Par, whether any of those that kind of give a understanding of what this is. Because they realize whatever disability one is going through, it's very hard for the other to understand in the most authentic way possible. Like I remember the early times when I had a phase where I had a year or something where I was just prepping for surgery, where I had to drop a certain kind of weight, I had to control my blood pressure, I had some calcification around my heart that I had to clean up. So there was a bunch of things I was doing. And there was a lot of sympathy that was coming my way, which was very hard to deal with. Because you constantly were being reminded that you were weak. The only thing that threw me out of that was there were another bunch of people that had similar issues, and I went to a hospital called Mayo. And it's a little town where everybody is either a doctor or a patient, so that was the normal scene. And it was humor that got us out of many things. So I remember many people used to keep asking me, okay, this is your issue, you need a kidney surgery, you need a donor, you need a transplant, you need this. Everyone's sympathizing with you, but the day I started asking their blood group and said, will they be the donor, they started disappearing. So I realized everyone can be partially sympathetic, but if you want to take the extra mile and really do it together, I think it's events like this that give us that strength and vision to kind of put these forward.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, to hear your insights on this, and we have so many more, questions about how films can help, but I think I want to move on to Avni for a bit and give you respite. Avni, your journey from being, to being a Paralympic champion has been like remarkable. So, can you share with those of us who are sitting here, the challenges that you faced after your accident at the age of 11, and both how it affected you personally and of course as an athlete. So take us through your journey a little bit yourself.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. Sorry I'm having a bad throat today. Life, it has a lot of unexpected twists and you don't know what's going to happen. I was just 10, 11-year-old when our whole family met with a car accident. And after that, being a kid who is running, dancing, going around, and suddenly you are completely on the bed and you don't know how to go ahead with your life. It kind of changed my mindset, also changed me completely. Living your life totally on a wheelchair, you have to learn a lot of new things, how to go outside, how to face the world. It brought a lot of sadness, anger, anxiety and all of those things. Physically there were a lot of issues, but mentally it was very exhausting because you don't know what's there in future for you. Sometimes you don't even want to think about it, how it's going to be. Sometimes you think why it's with me, why God has chosen me to be, in this misery and all. But the only thing that kept me going and helped me through all of these things were definitely my family. They played a huge role in, they just said, now, visually we can see that you have changed, but inside you're still the same Avni Lekra that was there. And you can still do the things that you set your mind onto it, and they kind of pushed me to, living a as normal as possible life. I joined the school, they even pushed me in sports, and in 2015 I started shooting. And when I went there for the first time, I was so nervous. I was like, how can I do this sitting on a wheelchair? How can I even hold a rifle that is 5-6 kgs? Like, I'm not capable of doing that. I was shivering, I was so nervous, but most of it was because I thought that people are going to judge me, because you don't see a lot of people sitting and shooting good tens. So that was something that people are going to judge me, make fun of me, but there were times that I wanted to give up shooting too, but shot by shot, process by process, I was like, okay, let's continue doing it. And eventually I kind of fell in love with shooting, kind of fell in love with the rifle. And personally, when I went there to Tokyo, it was just for the experience, because you never see those much people like you, but when I went there, I felt like home. I felt like there's so many people with different kind of disabilities and they're still living their life even better than me, even better than a lot of people that I know, and that kind of inspired me. And when I went there, when I won the medal, I was at this podium, I really, the only thought that came up to my mind was that your circumstances does not define you. It's what you do with it, it's how you come out of it, that is how it should be, for you to be. Just don't think about how your life is, what you're capable of doing, what you're not capable of doing, because if you only think that you're not capable of doing, how will life give it to you?
Absolutely, and it's lucky for us and the country that you decided to tell yourself these wonderful things. I just wanted to ask you, what is that one thing that kept you going? Like, what is the one thing you kept telling yourself that, to overcome whatever it is that was being thrown at you? Because it's not like you didn't know a life without disability, you did. So what did you tell yourself again and again to keep going?
I will not say that it was all good every day, and every day I was fully motivated, I was always happy, and when people say that the first thing you should do is accept what has happened to you, it is not easy to accept it.
It's really difficult. I mean, it's easier said than done, right? It's easy for people to say.
Definitely, and even when you go out and people say it's okay, move on and all that. For once you think okay, one day it is okay, but then again you have to start from zero. You have to stand in front of the mirror and you have to say to yourself that yes, you are worthy of whatever you have, whatever you are going to achieve, and your achievements also does not define you. Because when I won the gold medal, it was not like okay, now I'm the best, I've achieved everything. Sometimes there's still this emptiness inside you that no achievement can fulfill other than you believing in yourself that I am a whole person, and I don't need, my achievements does not define me, it is who I was, that's why I got those achievements.
Amazing. Wow, there's so much to learn from what she's just said. I mean, even for those of us who are not dealing with this, these are words that have come out of deep experience, and we appreciate that you're sharing them with us. Shrikant, I'm going to come to you next. Your personal life experiences, of course, everyone knows about. They've been brought to the big screen by the film Shrikant. How many of you have seen the film? You have, right? Most of us have. Enjoyed it? Liked it? Got motivated by it? So, but you know what, Shrikant? We have the privilege of having you here in person. So, we want to hear a little bit about your journey and your thoughts. The parts that didn't make it to the film.
I think the best and first thing that didn't make it to the film is my real face in the place of an actor.
No, what a pity.
I wish I would have acted my own role, so perhaps it would have been more. But life is all about every time you face a challenge, you turn that as an opportunity. So this time I made up my mind and say, जब sequel to आएगा जरूर मैं ही करूँगा. But thank you so much for having me today, and indeed I'm moved because I have done so many events, had done so many DI events and all, but I have not seen a company like Future Generali who is actually practicing inclusion as intention. You should understand this fact, right? I mean, everybody have sympathy or everybody want to do good for people who are underprivileged or people who are disabled, but people who can do it as an intention, as a part of their ecosystem and a blueprint, those are the real change makers. And today, Future Generali is no less than a change maker in this field, in innovating for the big change that we want to see. And my life is all about that. Wherever I see a challenge, I would walk right into it. And it's the challenges that makes me every day. And it's the no that makes me to turn yes. Every time someone says no, I climbed over their head to proceed to the next level and say, it's only Shrikant can do this. And in fact, I always joke and say, if you want to rub me on the wrong side, all that you have to do is say no to me. Then I'll prove that I can do this. I think just as we have limited time, it was very difficult for the director and his team to bring out the entire story in the 2 years of screen time, what I have done in the last 32 years, 33 years. But they have done a fantastic job in bringing out my story with 98% plus accuracy, but of course with a little bit of that Bollywood sauce that we all need to have. And this is the first time in the Indian cinema we have seen a story of a hero being portrayed by a real hero. Because so far, whatever movies you have seen, the characters of people with disabilities were used as decoys or ancillary characters to make their movie look good or make it more little bit sympathetic or whatever. But this is the first time in the Indian history that the distinction between sympathy and empathy is drawn out in the form of a real story. As Ranaji was saying, sympathy is absolutely useless, whereas empathy is what we need to make that big change that we all want to see. Because compassion is not about giving a 10 rupee coin to a beggar on the streets. It's about giving someone a way to live with dignity and purpose. And today, this is what Future Generali is actually initiating and saying compassion doesn't come from elsewhere, it is in your own hearts, it is in your own mind. Before I close this, when I was born in 1991, everybody said I was a zero. Because what they could see was I was born with both the eyes closed. But it was me and my parents who were able to realize that I was actually a born hero because I was born with the power of vision. When you have vision is something that you and I cannot see it, but you only have to embrace it. When vision is in your mind that you always cherish, and when the mind doesn't have a disability, then in what way I am challenged or differently abled or specially abled? I am no shorter or no way less than a hero that he is and all of you are. And this is why when people often ask me, how much vision do you have? I always tell them I have 100% vision. So people laugh and say again, they will ask, how much can you see? That's
जो इनिशिएटिव लिया है फ्यूचर जनराली ने, क्या कहना चाहेंगे उस इनिशिएटिव के बारे में? कितना इम्पोर्टेंट इनिशिएटिव है और कितना मोटिवेट करेगा लोगों?
First, sir, I think just an organization of this scale doing something like this, and the fact that 1% of their entire workforce is now in such an inclusion manner, I think it's a huge step forward. Inside this forum, we spoke about empathy over sympathy, and I think Future Generali is leading by example.
Tell us about your experience meeting Avni, Srikanth and other.
Well, it's such a humbling experience, where I think it's just a large motivation day for me today, just by meeting these people and seeing where they have pursued in life. That's really what it is. It's just a big deal.
Any message you would like to convey to the other audience who are watching you?
Well, be aware, understand that everyone's story is different. If there is something that God has given as a challenge, it's people are overcoming it, and do your part to that.
And tell us about your association with Future Generali.
Well, as soon as they came to me, and this was the first time I actually spoke to any large platform in some manner about health issues and others, but I'm just the fact that they're opening up dialogue is such a huge part.
What do you say about Anup Rao, about his initiative for this thing? Whether he's playing a major role for this initiative?
Well, like I said, this initiative is something that hugely inspires a lot of people, and I hope the media kind of takes it to more and more organizations and makes it a normalcy.
Srikanth was cracking a joke that you'll be producing and directing his movie.
Sure. Why not? If it's in Telugu, why not? Yeah. Thank you so much.
श्रीकांत सर, सबसे पहले जो फ्यूचर जनराली ने जो इनिशिएटिव लिया है, कितना इम्पोर्टेंट इनिशिएटिव है? जितने भी लोग हैं जो अच्छा करना चाहते हैं, मोटिवेट करने के लिए कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है ये इनिशिएटिव?
आई थिंक जो फ्यूचर जनरली इंश्योरेंस ने करके दिखाया है हमको, एंड टुडे दे हैव शोन दैट नथिंग इज़ इम्पॉसिबल. क्योंकि 10 साल के पहले मैंने लोगों के लिए कॉर्पोरेट्स में जॉब लगाने के लिए बहुत कोशिश किया था थ्रू आवर NGO, बट नो कॉर्पोरेट वाज विलिंग टू hire people with various disabilities for several reasons. Either they don't know how to handle them, or they cannot create any extra facilities or whatsoever. And what people doesn't understand is people with disabilities doesn't require special facilities. They only require a mindset change and a perception change. And that is the difference between all the other companies out there and Future Generali Insurance. These people here has a different mindset to view people with disabilities as productive workforce rather than viewing them with the angle of sympathy and turning them away. So I really congratulate the entire team for such humongous effort in making their DEI as core initiative of their business. You know, we can simply talk about CSR or diversity, equity and inclusion on the face of it, but we don't implement. Most companies doesn't implement, but Future Generali is actually leading the way in showing us how this has to be done and how their business outcome can be increased by increasing the percentage of people with disabilities in their workforce.
Tell us about your association and how you associated with Future Generali.
I am very happy to be one of their chief guests for the event today, for the book launch that we did along with my other guests, and I'm above everything, the amount of dedication Future Generali has towards people with disabilities is quite good, and it is very, very impressive. So we have to appreciate the entire team who are behind this and doing this to inspire all the other corporates to follow the same footsteps.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you can hold back.
The thought behind this initiative, and tell us about the association with Rana and freelancer and
Okay, I have to see the camera. Well, I mean, look, let's understand, let's appreciate the fact that, you know, doing business in India is a privilege. It puts you in a position of privilege. I think being able to lead a company is a privilege. I think a lot of people are in a position to do something for society, be it celebrities, be it movie stars, be it sports people. I think they've used their privilege wisely. I think all of us have societal responsibilities. I think it's an opportunity for us as an organization to build people who represent various communities, various aspects of society, for solutions which can actually represent in every single member of the larger communities that we hope to serve.
So do you think after this initiative, the other people will motivate and the higher the more they will have more people?
I certainly hope so, because in my opinion, in case you want to provide genuine solutions encompassing every single part of society, in case you want to do that, you need representation within your company. I think the quality of the services or goods you provide improves because you have better representation and more diversity in your views, more inputs coming your way. So I think it definitely makes sense for people to do that.
So we have biggest example Avni, Shrikant sir. Do you think people will look at them and come forward to showcase their talent in the various fields?
I certainly hope so. I think people from the disabled community need a platform, need an opportunity, and then so that they can do their best. I think even in our company, we have seen that people with disabilities have done very well. It's not that the productivity is any different for people compared to people who are completely able, in case I can use that term. I think what they require is a platform and an opportunity for them to be able to contribute. I think that's what they're looking for.
So everyone is welcome, is the message. What do you mean by that message?
Well, we are saying at Future Generali, everyone's welcome. I mean, irrespective of who you are, where you come from, what your abilities are, what your supposed lack of abilities are, what communities you come from, what your orientation is, what your belief system is, it does not matter. We provide a room for everyone, and we welcome that, because I think it makes us a better company at the end of the day.
Also, there are a lot of hidden disabled people out here, and are you in a way that you select those people and sponsor or support them, like what you are doing right now?
Sorry, say that again.
So there are so many people, like since you have taken the initiative of supporting disabled, there are so many hidden people that they are unnoticed. Is there anything that you would do that for those people also?
So we work with a lot of NGOs so that we can get a funnel of people who are differently able or who are marginalized who can work with us. So I think all we can do is to make sure that we try and create opportunities for the people we are exposed to, and we try and get that through NGOs, because we ourselves as a company will have limitations in doing that. So hopefully, yes, we'll get wider and wider exposure to those people, and therefore a larger opportunity to hire some of them.
Any message you would like to convey to the audience, the able people and disabled people?
No, well, all I can say is that I think, and I've said that on stage, that I think we are conscious about the privilege, economic privileges some of us might have. Privileges, I mean, a lot of success in life is also a question of accident of birth. And you win the genetic lottery, you're born in the right family, you get the right opportunities, you go to the right school, you get the right exposure, you do well. And it's not just economic privilege. Some privileges could just be that, you know, you're able-bodied, and then, you know, you can use facilities and public goods which may not be accessible to other people. It's also about orientation. I mean, when I grew up in the 90s, largely you were lucky to be male over a female. Thankfully, less of a case today. You were luckier to be heterosexual than homosexual. Thankfully, again, that's less of a case today. But then privileges come in various forms, and I think let's be conscious about it, and let's use our genetic lottery wisely. Let's spread the winnings of the lottery to people who are less fortunate and less able than us. Thank you.
As you say that, like corporate house, don't you think that there are many more corporate houses that should come forward like you have done it?
I'm sure a lot of corporate organizations do that. It's for them to do it. I can't comment on that. But I'm sure that I would say that there are a lot of corporate entities in India whose heart actually is obviously in the right place, and they try and do a lot for the society at large. Not just a different label, but then they do take up a lot of causes.
Thanks for your appreciate your initiative.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
What's next in the journey?
What would you like to see next in the journey? Let me ask you.
You have already achieved 1%, so what's your next?
Look, I think getting to that 1% was difficult. I mean, if I remember right, I think the number was 4 about 3-4 years back. Last year we got to a number of 22, and then I said that, you know, let's get to 1%, which is about close to the 40 number that we have today. My dream really is that over the next 5-6 years, maybe longer, maybe shorter, I would like to see people at the CXO level, business heads, actually be from this community. Right now we have people who are in lower and mid management. I mean, I would like to see, our organization be able to build some of these people to take leadership positions in the company. That's my dream. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello.